Well, let's make some predictions here. I tell you, the polls are all over the place, and I think they're making the same mistake they made 4 years ago. They're not catching the shy Trump voter. I think
Right,
Rush brought
right.
out a couple of weeks ago that they're even when they're polling Republicans or they're polling suburban Republicans who tend to be more moderate. I think there's going to be a big surprise come election night. Now, I do think. Well, let's put it this way, and I'm not going to go through all. I'm not going to crunch all the numbers because you can make people's eyes glass over with this. I believe that Trump will win at a minimum in the high 270s, and a maximum he could get. I think how many did he have last time? Like 320 or something like that. I think
Yeah,
that's
something
possible
like that.
again.
Yeah.
I think I think he wins Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas. He squeaks by in Arizona. He wins Iowa and Ohio. Ohio, I think he could win possibly by double digits. Then you come to the Rust Belts. I think he wins Wisconsin and Michigan by close margins.
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, I have no clue. There are so many conflicting polls. You've got the possible voter fraud going on there. If Trump doesn't win Pennsylvania, I think he still wins like with the minimum that I talked about. If he does win it, then he'll be over 300 electoral votes. But the other very interesting thing that just came out today is that he's actually in play in Minnesota.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And if he wins, well, he doesn't actually have to win Minnesota. If he comes close in Minnesota, I think the other Rust Belts will be safely in his corner. And it will be interesting to see the. I hope I pronounced this right. The Trafalgar Group. They're the ones that were so accurate in 2016 or
Right. Right.
predicting Trump to win all those states I just said. And the CEO of that company said that one of their methodologies, and I think this is brilliant, is that they'll ask a person who they're voting for, but then they'll ask the person who they think their neighbor is voting for.
Mhm.
So therefore, they get around the shy Trump voter because even if somebody is reluctant to say that they're voting for Trump, they're more likely to admit that their neighbor is voting for Trump.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, I think Trump wins it possibly in a large margin with the electoral college, but he may win individual states by very small margins like he did in 2016. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think that he's going to hold on to the voters that he had in 2016, and I think he's going to add to that. I think these people are going to look at their lives and say, I'm better off. Even with COVID, whatever, all that garbage, I don't think they're blaming him for that. And I think that he's going to grab more voters. He's going to grab more minorities. He's going
Right.
to grab, he's going to get votes from places that the Democrats have no idea. Because a lot of African American voters are not telling pollsters that they're voting for Trump.
Right.
They're really not, because they don't want to be canceled.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'll make another prediction too, because I do think Trump will win, and after he does win, pandemonium is going to set in. That's going to make 2000 look like a picnic. I hate to say that,
Yeah, I
but
know.
the left
I
is
know.
not going to accept this at all, and
Well,
they're going.
yeah, I agree with you, because look, they're already. This is why I think that they know they're in trouble, because they got a master plan to start up trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they do that if they were so secure?
And I know a lot of cities are already preparing police forces to deal with rioting. I think there will be riots, and the irony of it is that most of the riots will take place in Democrat-run cities,
Hmm.
like they have before. So I don't look forward to the aftermath of the election. I think Trump will ultimately prevail, no matter how long they try to drag it out with the mail-in votes or whatever. But the country is going to be plunged into the depths of hell from the left. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but it's based on experience.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question. Just hit me. If if it looks like he's going to win, he's still in office till January, right? Regardless.
Yes.
If everything breaks loose and there's just pandemonium everywhere, and martial law has to be, implemented, what happens at that point in January?
I don't know.
I don't know either, because when you declare martial law, you don't change administrations, right?
Well, that's a good point. And I think one of the objects of the Democrats, and I'll have to look further on this, because Rush talked about this, about if the Democrats keep dragging it out and there's not a clear winner, or they try to prevent it from being certified, then neither Trump or Pence can take office. That would put it down to Pelosi.
Right.
However, there was something, I have to go back and look it up. Scott Adams talked about this, the creator of Dilbert, talked about this about a month ago. And I think he was talking about it in conjunction, whereas if the Electoral College was tied and it went to the House of Representatives, that even though the Democrats have a majority, that doesn't necessarily mean that Biden would win, because it's not, the vote would not be based on the majority in the House. It's some other type of rule. And he didn't really explain it, and I haven't had a chance to look it up. So, I don't know. That's food for thought. But, yeah, the thought...
Yeah, it gives you a lot to think about,
yeah.
especially in 2020 when anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen. But and I hope I'm wrong on this, but if it does happen, folks, just don't panic, because God will be in control, and I think when it's all sorted out, Trump will still be in office, and he's going to have to, no matter what happens, I think he's just waiting until after the election. He's going to have to put down these riots, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Can't keep having this happen. So, but it's been a long year. We're at the end of this journey. I do, no matter what happens, God is in control. If Biden wins, Republicans will be upset, and we'll probably eat a bucket of ice cream or something, but we're not going to go out and riot.
No, we're not. We're gonna take a step back, and we're gonna regroup.
Yeah. So we'll have a lot to talk about after the election, and then and going into Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas, maybe January, February, March. Who knows how long it's going to take to sort all this out.
No telling.
But we've been in the twilight zone for a while, and we're probably going to continue to be there. So, and I want to, before we close, I do want to say, I've got to mention this, gentleman. If you want good analysis on election night, there is a gentleman has a YouTube channel called Red Eagle Politics. And I have watched several of his videos, and he is spot on with some of these polls and his analysis. And he's doing a live election night coverage on YouTube. So look that up, and don't pay attention to what these network people are until about 9 or 10 o'clock, when it's obvious that Trump is winning. Then it's fun to turn it over and watch them, just their face crestfallen.
Right.
But,
right. What is that again? It's Red Eagle?
Red Eagle Politics.
Politics, okay.
And what amazing about this is the guy that runs it, he looks like he's about 20 years old. And so I'm like, how does he know all this stuff? But he has gone in and completely skewered Nate Silver. He calls him Nate Plastic. And all these polls, like the one that showed Biden up by 17 points the other day, he said that is ridiculous.
I know. I know, exactly.
So anyway, somebody's going to be wrong. I'm hoping, like who's the guy you said earlier that said if the polls are wrong, we'll have to quit? Frank Luntz.
Yeah, Frank Luntz.
That's like the Hollywood people promising to leave if Trump wins or if Bush won. They're still here. So,
I know.
So anyway, well, this has been the Political Twilight Zone with John Baldwin
and Morgan Brittany.
We'll see you after the election, folks.
All right, get out there and vote.
Vote often and vote early. Just joking.